Welcome everyone. This is the Masterclass. My name is Patricknazareth. I have around 30 years of teaching experience and I'm here to help you with your doubts, if any. Today's poem is Keeping Quiet. The poet is Pablo Neruda. What do we know about Pablo Neruda's background? He was born on July the 12th in 1904 in Chile. He died there in Santiago on September the 23rd in 1973. He had a varied life. He was a poet, a diplomat, a politician. He won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1971. He was known as a communist. He married 3 times and he successfully put 2 presidents into power. The first stanza of the poem: Now we will count to 12 and we will all keep still. For once on the face of the earth, let's not speak in any language. Let's stop for a second and not move our arms so much. In this stanza, the poet appeals to everyone in the world that no matter what language we speak, or no matter what we are doing, for 1 minute, for once, we will all count to 12. Why 12? Because 12 is the number of digits on the clock, so you could look at it as 12 hours, or you could look at it as the 12 signs of the zodiac, and not move our arms so much. So what the poet is asking is that for everyone on the face of this earth to count to 12 very, very slowly and not speak a word, not move at all. Continuing on, it would be an exotic moment without rush, without engines. We would all be together in a sudden strangeness. The poet says that if we actually do this, it would be something wonderful. It would be something out of the ordinary because none of us have ever experienced that. There would be no running to and fro. There would be no sound of engines. And everyone would be together. Suddenly, it's a strange world where there is no sound, where no one is moving. Fishermen in the cold sea would not harm whales, and the man gathering salt would look at his hurt hands. The poet goes on to say that if you are a fisherman in the sea, you would not be harming whales. He actually means all fish, but whales is just a metaphor for all the fish. He would not be catching fish. And the person who makes salt would look at his hurt hands. Because when you make salt, you tend to cut your hands. You tend to have these little cuts on them, which are very painful because if you have ever dropped salt on an injury, you know it pains very badly. Those who prepare wars with gas, wars with fire, victories with no survivors, would put on clean clothes and walk about with their brothers in the shade, doing nothing. Today, we are worried about our environment. We are worried about various conflicts that are breaking out all over the world. This is something that was there even in Pablo Neruda's time. So when you have industries going up, you have industrial pollution, you have the environment getting damaged, you have greenhouse gases, you have small conflicts, wars going on everywhere. Maybe the poet thinks if we stopped and just thought and kept quiet for some time, we would realize that we all inhabit this planet. And such wars lead to no victories. There are no survivors in this. Everyone on this planet will suffer. Maybe that awareness would come to people who are behind such things if they would simply stop and pause and move about with their brothers, fellow humans, and understand the destruction that they are causing. What I want should not be confused with total inactivity. Life is what it is all about. I want no truck with death. The poet doesn't want us to confuse inactivity or silence, the stillness that he is advocating, with dying, because death is a different thing altogether. The poet wants us to reconnect with life. He wants us to understand the meaning of life. He wants us to look at the beauty of life. We are so busy running around that we forget how beautiful life is and how much it should be enjoyed. If we were not so single-minded about keeping our lives moving, and for once could do nothing, perhaps a huge silence might interrupt this sadness of never understanding ourselves and of threatening ourselves with death. Perhaps the earth can teach us, as when everything seems dead and later proves to be alive. Man is single-minded in his purpose of wealth. When we are young, we are studying. When we grow up, we prepare for competitions. Once we pass those competitions or get jobs, we start earning money. We raise families. So we are in a constant race, the race to get ahead of each other, the race to earn more money than the other person, the race to buy all the material things that we can buy. And we fail to understand that by threatening ourselves in the sense that you work hard or you will not get this. Do this or you will not be able to afford to give your family that. There is no need to threaten ourselves with everything. You must step back. Think about it. Think about what you are doing. Think what is actually required. And we can only do that if we pause, if we are still. He reminds us, here the poet tells us, look at the earth itself. Some places it looks barren, but you water it, you put seeds on it, and that very earth which appears to be dead springs to life. Plants come up, crops grow. The same thing we are going to be able to achieve if we only stop and pause, reflect on what we need from life and what we are actually trying to do with life. Now I'll count up to 12 and you keep quiet and I will go. The poet ends this poem asking us to reflect on what he has said. He speaks about peace and understanding between all the men, all the people on this planet. He speaks about living together in peaceful coexistence and harmony. Did he get the message across? Were you able to understand what he said? That is what he wants you to reflect upon. Stop, think, count slowly up to 12, be still, don't move, and reflect on what he said. What are the themes that run through this poem? The most important, the power of silence. If we can take some time to pause, to think, to reflect, and simply keep quiet, we will be able to find a deeper understanding of the people around us, of the world at large. We can understand how we are all interconnected to each other. If something good is done for one person or for one community or for a country, good is done for the world at large. If we do something bad, for example, if we are destroying the environment by building too many industries, by polluting rivers, by polluting streams, by cutting too many trees, we are destroying the world at large for every one of us. We should not look at short-term gains. We should go for long-term thinking. We can only achieve that if we are silent and we connect with each other and we try to do the best that we can do for each other, for this planet on which all of us stay, so that all species as a whole benefit, not just humankind. That's it then, the end of the poem. I hope I have been able to clear your doubts, if any. Please do remember to like, subscribe, and share if I have been of help to you. Remember, there might be other people out there who would need our help.